She carried life inside, yet nobody knew where it began. Among old fences and forgotten trees, surrounded by voices that whispered louder than the wind, something was born that should never have existed. The most entangled blood ever seen in American records. This is not a lesson in medicine. This is not data or research. It is a journey into silence, shame, and shadows that never stopped growing. You will enter a hidden passage through time, where ancient rules and buried truth created something unnatural. That young girl, barely noticed beyond her creaking wooden steps, bore a secret heavier than stone. Her home belonged to a place shut, away from visitors, ignored by roads, and abandoned by time. Outsiders never stayed. Some never returned. Her condition brought no joy, only fear. No partner stepped forward. No explanations arrived. Fear held the neighbors silent. Some believed punishment had fallen. Others believed the child was destiny twisted by wrong choices made too often. Her world darkened every sunrise. No doctors. No documents. No identity. The infant grew where records never reached. Families around her shared ties too close for names. Cousins became husbands. Sisters became mothers again. The surrounding hills hid secrets older than laws. But this was not coincidence. This was not confusion. It was deliberate. The old family demanded it. They followed a belief that blood must stay clean through isolation, even if it meant madness. Their origins held wealth, power, and land. All of it fell. Not with flames, not through war, but through decisions that twisted the family inward. Survival became obedience. Love lost its shape. Reason turned into repetition. Understanding her birth requires seeing the roots she came from. That family story winds through violence, secrets, and forgotten pain. This truth will shake you. What you find here does not rest in books or classrooms. It sleeps under the soil, behind closed windows, buried in names long erased. The land they once ruled now only remembers suffering. Rusted letters remain on cold iron, reminding anyone who dares to look that pride once lived here. A man began this spiral. He held beliefs that twisted love into heritage. Not kindness, not honesty, just blood. He bound himself to his cousin. His children followed, then their children. The line became a knot, each generation bending closer. Never further. Nothing spread out. Everything folded back. Her name, lost. Her smile, never seen. But the town knew everything, and they said nothing. Silence was protection. Truth brought danger. Houses near the property never invited them. Conversations ended when names came up. Her mother never shared words beyond her gate. She walked. Fields barefoot in frost, humming sounds without meaning. When her life ended, the girl said nothing. No tears, no sadness. She simply stepped into place. Same silence. Same path. Same distant gaze. But something inside had changed. You could not see it. You could not point to it. But deep inside her blood, something rotten stirred. Years of decay reached a new depth. It was no longer skin or bone that bore the damage. It had reached thought, memory, perception. When her body began changing, none questioned it. Not the sheriff, not the neighbor, not the woman who came with shaking hands the night new life entered the world. Everyone already understood. Questions brought answers. Answers brought scars. So they made stories. They spoke of travelers, of accidents. But inside, they knew. No stranger had entered for 100 seasons. That infant was no beginning. It was a final sound. A quiet echo of mistakes repeated too long. It happened in a room without light, without running water, without reflection. Smoke coated the ceiling. The air tasted old. Nobody saw the child. Not once, not even from far away. But sometimes something moved. A sound came through the wood. Not crying, not talking, something between breath and water. The woman who helped the birth fled, pale, lost, whispering about eyes that never finished forming. She closed her home. She never spoke again. She vanished into another town, leaving questions behind. It would be easy to say this was nothing, that people made it up. But one page, buried in a government box, had words scratched out by hand. It listed facial damage, uneven bones, thought levels outside known measurement. But most lines were blacked out. Someone believed truth could hurt. Perhaps they were right. Bodies created from repeated blood often carry damage. That is known. But this child carried more than injury. She changed the air. Rooms grew tense. Animals avoided her. Time felt longer around her. She never screamed. She never cried. She watched. Her stare pulled people in, held them, broke them. One guest believed she copied every blink, every breath. Not curious, not playful, focused like hunger learning. Still, silence surrounded her. Everyone kept distance. They believed the family suffered, but that it was locked away. As long as it stayed quiet, they could pretend. But darkness spreads. Hiding does not last forever. The house pulled inward. Curtains stayed drawn. Locks increased. Not to stop danger from entering, but to keep something trapped. No one passed by. Even fearless hunters found new paths. They whispered about broken tree bark, about ground that animals refused to cross. The woods flinched. But the girl frightened more. She never stepped into daylight, never attended learning. But people saw her standing at edges, watching the sea. Village, her eyes open too wide, her posture too still. One pair saw her during snowfall, bare feet on ice. No pain, just waiting. Then she vanished. She did not speak, but she made sounds, clicks, low notes, patterns. Some called it language, others called it copying. But the result remained fear. Some say her mother ran once, carrying the child to a doctor. The doctor closed his door, sent her away. Then his life ended months later. They called it natural. But he had changed. He no longer rested. He mumbled about too much blood in one being. If you are here, you are stronger than many. Tell below what you would have done. Would you stay? Would you speak? The village reached an agreement without words. They would not visit. They would not report. In return, they hoped the thing inside would remain where it was. But history created it. History gave it breath. It would not sleep forever. On a quiet morning, when bells rang and windows welcomed warmth, everything stopped. No wind. No birds. Stillness louder than thunder. Then she walked. Down the road, no shoes, arms limp, hands twitching, head tilted, like listening to something far away, or something inside. Hair covered her features, but her eyes gleamed, not with tears, with knowing. She reached the store. She looked through the glass. A child inside ran. A woman prayed. She said that shape wore skin like clothing. The sheriff came, his steps slow, his hand ready. He spoke. She listened. He offered help. She stayed silent. He moved closer. Then she opened her mouth. But no word came. No scream. Only a deep vibration. It shook glass. It brought the sheriff to the ground. Then she disappeared. No footprints. No hiding place. Just absence. From that point, nothing felt safe. Lights flickered. Animals died without. Wounds. Children walked in their sleep. Woke in strange places. One drew a picture. A girl in front of fire. He called her his sister. He had no siblings. The mother vanished. Maybe she died. Maybe she remains behind locked doors, speaking to darkness. The truth no longer mattered. The girl no longer hid. She became part of everything, a breath inside the town, a weight pressing from inside, a curse born from fear, shame, denial, and she was only beginning. Reports vanished. Stories were erased, cracks painted, windows replaced. Adults told children it never happened. But the land did not forget. Walls fell. Water turned bitter. Growth stopped. A holy man lost speech during prayer. He wrote one word before he left. Returned. No one explained it. They all understood. She had not come. She had returned. That bloodline they avoided had spilled into every root, every name, every home. This sickness does not live only in skin. It builds thoughts, repeats silence, makes patterns. Nobody remembers where it began. Everyone knows it must stay hidden. So it spreads. They say she now speaks. Backward whispers. Circles in dirt. One room had a mark on its floor. Locked doors. No break, just symbols, and one small print. People began leaving. Others stayed. They covered mirrors. They closed doors. They stopped turning around. Dreams became sharp. Sleep broke. A man burned his land. He said the wheat bent for her. The house stayed, doors sealed. But the lights never went off. Even without power, whatever lived inside had company. It had shape. It had eyes. It had legs. It remembered. It had grown. This story will not appear in lessons. It travels in hushed voices. Most have gone. What remains is broken. Roads without direction. Names without signs. The house still waits. And so does she. Explorers come. Some laugh. Some seek thrill. Many return confused. Devices fail. Maps twist. They get lost. But a few do reach it. One short clip appeared. Flickering. A shape in the distance. Still. White skin. Head tilted. Then that hum. The same sound from long ago. It followed those who watched. It did not fade. One man hurt himself. He now lives in silence. But they forget one part. She is not alone. Repeated blood changes everything, even the mind. The family lost shape, became one. One memory, one scream, one heartbeat. She is the end of their tree, but inside her lives each one. The woman, her father, his brother, the past. That is why her silence crushes. That is why her stillness suffocates. She contains voices not meant to meet, thoughts with no borders. She is proof. She is warning. Her name does not exist. Her past holds no papers, but those who remain call her something. They say she is the echo child, because she holds their whispers. She carries their guilt. She becomes their past. If that sound reaches you, do not answer. Do not turn. Do not open anything, because some things never belonged here. And she is one of them.